What's something sexual you tried but realized you were not into? Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Thanks. Had my husband fuck a cake once. Turns out it wasn't as erotic as I thought it would be. Completely casual sex. Turns out attraction and desire isn't enough for me. I also need at least some level of connection. The goat of sexual regret posts always needs to be mentioned in threads like this. https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/comments/3907wr/comments/crz7j9/ Threesome. In theory it's fun. In practice, it's double the work. Handcuffs. Better campfire ways to be restrained. Slapping and choking. Realized it just makes me feel like a piece of meat, in the bad way. Rough sex can be fun and all, but I can't take that part. Shower sex. It always looked incredibly hot in movies, but it's so uncomfortable and not hot in the slightest. Insulting and biting a guy's dick. Don't look at me. He really wanted this. Chastity and denial. Been going strong for 10+ years by myself, and gotta say I'm thinking, I'm not really into this. Orgies. The smell was really bad. Almost putrid smellin'. Please don't call me daddy. Underwater sex. Contrary to popular belief, water is nothing like lube. Being with a woman sexually. Didn't work out. Turns out I am totally gay. Orgy. It looks good on porn, but IRL it's a lot of chaotic energy, sensory overload, and performance anxiety jumbled all together. And the smell. Like 20 minutes to an hour of sex with people. It's gonna stink. Like bodily fluids all mixing. RP play. Not in the I tie you up and fuck you dominantly way, but in the I'm going to pretend to cry and ask you to stop way. Complete turn off. Just pure anxiety and disgust. Never understood feet. Seems like anal is a common theme. Inserting small stuff in the penis. It just hurts. I once came on a chick and licked it off. She thought it was super hot, so I tried it. Not for me. Candle wax being dripped onto my buttocks. My boyfriend at the time was a dom, and I really enjoyed, vast understatement, the mixture of pain and pleasure. But not the hot wax. That just hurt, but not in a fun way. I'm glad I tried it. It fulfilled a fantasy of his, and there's another box ticked for me. Once we got to a sexual point, I asked if he had any kinks, but he said he wasn't sure. So we just tried a bunch. I peed on him, he peed on me, and neither of us liked it, so we just never did it again lol. We also tried anal ANDDDD, just personally a nope from me. Maybe when I'm old and loose or something IDK. Calling my partner daddy. Tried it, didn't care for it. Anal. It hurts sometimes. I get scared with hygiene. Everyone always asks, and I'm like, no thank you. I have had my ass eaten out a few times, and that was way more pleasurable. Maybe even a finger, but definitely not a big dick. No, no, no. Eating booty like groceries. The whipped cream and cherries thing, food play in general. Fun. Meh. Sticky mess. Definitely. Now food play is a nice dinner. Everything sexual I've ever tried did not rise to the hype, unfortunately. It was not bad. I did have orgasms, so I've checked that box, but I think sex overall is not something I am into. Sex in the shower. Not a fan. Anal. She was not thrilled with it, and neither was I. It was not what I expected. But she did like me to stick a finger up her ass and flick up when she was about to orgasm. Anal TBH. 69ing. In the words of Tom Segura, why does it gotta be at the same time? Are we late for something? I used to fantasize about it until I tried it. I could not concentrate on the pleasure I was supposed to be feeling, nor what the hell I was doing. Too many things at once. Tried a few times since, still 0/10. Would not dine again. Prostate stuff. Maybe it feels good for others, but it's genuinely painful for me. But stuff. Finger up the ass whilst receiving a blowjob. Being a submissive. I don't like being told or controlled. Blowjob. I don't enjoy receiving them. I don't hate it, I just get nothing out of it. The concept of anal on at least some level seems hot, but in practice is quite the opposite. I must stick to doing it the way nature seemed to intend. Having hot, sweaty sex, finishing, and then going to sleep. Sorry, but there is no way I'm sleeping on a sweaty, wet patch on the bed. I caught ringworm from a girlfriend in college because she never showered after sex or the gym, instead waiting until morning to shower. Now, after sex, my fiancé gets in the shower and I change the sheets before joining her. Then, We draw off, climb into bed, and have a nice, clean cuddle as we fall asleep. My girlfriend was a skinny petite platinum blonde and surprised me one day by dressing as a sexy candy striper miniskirt, pigtails, knee-high colorful stripy socks, and asked me to tie her up and fuck her like she deserved. I went ahead with it because it was the first time a girl had gone out of her way to do any sort of sexy cosplay for me, so I didn't want to ruin the effort. I confirmed my assumption that day that I don't find women dressing up like 14-year-old candy stripers sexy. On the contrary, I ended up feeling pretty creepy gross after. Sex on the beach. In the movies they neglect to show how sand in every orifice, mosquitoes, and salt water don't exactly lend themselves to cataclysmic sex. Is licking of the anal area really a thing? I am a male. I was drunk, horny, and single. When I got home, I took out my lube, my cum towel, loaded my go-to-porn site, and my fave melody marks, and turned off the light. As I was stroking and choking my cock with lots of lube, a thought came into my mind: what if I put my finger up my bum? It wouldn't hurt 'cause there's lube. So I carefully did it and put it in. It didn't hurt, it just went in smoothly. As I was trying to find the spot from the hole I went in, rubbing and pressing didn't do it. After some time exploring, I kinda felt something inside which felt like mud or clay, and realized I think it's my shit. I removed my finger, turned on the lights, and found a dot of it off my finger. Goddamn disgusting stuff, I tell ya. I washed my hands after that and went to sleep. But seriously, I'd day that anything BDSM and anything related to that type of stuff was difficult for me since I don't like hurting people. And there was also the weirdly specific roleplay she wanted to do that would last for days and not like a few hours, like male pregnancy. Having me roleplay as a clone Cody from Star Wars Clone Wars, and imagining she had an alternate personality, which was a brat that had to be screwed in order to go away. At first it seemed like common things related to longer-term BDSM-type relationships, but eventually I realized, after she was repeatedly pushing things like the male pregnancy stuff on me, that she probably should find someone who was more willing to regularly do that type of play that was actually into it. I'd also say probably half the stuff my ex-girlfriend wanted to try, I was okay trying, but the amount of stuff she expected me to be capable of doing first try was not something my anatomy was capable of in terms of flexibility, length of time, or pain tolerance. There was also the polyamory. I am a monogamous type of person, and I don't get onto people about being poly, but I prefer a monogamous relationship, and she would often push to have anyone and everyone possible for her to sleep with. Eventually, she had me drive to go pick up her ex-boyfriend so that I could let them hook up while I was in another room nearby. Might have been a cucking thing. It was at that moment I realized my ex was in fact someone I was not into. It was for a number of reasons, but her constant pushing on my boundaries was definitely something that bothered me enough to leave her. Woman tried to play with my jewels trying to excite me but was too rough and it ended up hurting me. Now I know to tell them just to stroke it. AmITheA threesome with an old girlfriend. It sounded so hot. The moment it began I realized I was just watching her fuck another dude. Too tense. Water sports. When I first discovered masturbation, for reasons unknown to me, I thought that sounding might feel good. Obviously I had no idea what the fuck sounding was because I was like 11 and it was 2002. I just knew it seemed like the lightsaber from my Anakin Skywalker action figure might fit in my pee-hole, and it seemed reasonable to believe that that might feel good. It did not feel good. It did not feel good at all. It was very unpleasant. I immediately abandoned my endeavor and relegated it to, well, that was a dumb idea, and forgot all about it until I learned about the concept of sounding over a decade later. At that point I could only wonder who the fuck enjoyed that, because I very much did not. Quite a few years ago, I went to a sex therapist who happened to be a sex worker. I went for the therapy, but it was clear we were giving off vibes the whole time. She made a move first, and I jumped at the chance. Having sex with a therapist, sex therapist had been a fantasy for a while. That is until I was on the train home and I realized I would still need sex therapy, except now I probably couldn't see that one again. I went to another therapist a couple years later and told them about that experience, and they were horrified. Honestly, anal, as in being a top. I don't get why people are obsessed with it. I don't want my pee-pee going in there anymore.